Welcome! Today, we're diving into a world where dragons and magic aren't just for epic stories. Nope, they're actually the secret weapons for conquering one of the most feared subjects in school, algebra. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Can a whole epic tale about a kingdom at war really teach you how to find the value of X? Well, that's exactly the question we're tackling today. Let's be real. For a lot of us, algebra felt less like math and more like, well, a battlefield. Just a confusing mess of abstract symbols and rules that made absolutely no sense. It's a struggle pretty much everyone can relate to, and it's the exact problem that sparked the incredible quest we're about to explore. Okay, so let's get into it. You know, every great story starts with a challenge, but this one didn't begin in some mythical land. It started in a totally normal classroom, with a student's question that, at the time, felt completely unsolvable. And this is our hero, the creator, Sergio Machado. He's a teacher who was literally stopped in his tracks by a student's question he just couldn't answer. But here's the thing, instead of seeing it as a failure, that one moment of being stumped became the spark for a whole new way of teaching. So, and this is the really cool part, the idea came from the pop culture giant, Game of Thrones. He had this light bulb moment and called his creation a Guerra dos Tornos. Now, this is a super clever play on words. In Portuguese, tronos means thrones, but tornos means turns, which is a perfect nod to how mathematical terms turn into their opposite when they cross that equal sign. So let's follow this teacher on his quest and see exactly how he managed to transform such a dreaded subject into a grand adventure. The mission was simple, but kind of radical. Take all those abstract, confusing symbols of algebra and give them life. Turn them into characters and places that students could actually visualize and connect with. So, forget boring variables. It was time for warriors, kings, and, of course, dragons. Now, the technique behind all this magic is a classic literary device called an allegory. All that means is it's a story where every single character and event is a symbol for some deeper idea. In our case, every warrior, every river, every dragon is a direct stand-in for a mathematical rule or concept. So, how does it all actually work? It's time to decode this amazing world and see exactly how this fantasy kingdom mirrors a real algebraic equation. It all starts with this, a kingdom that's been divided by a cursed river. That river, that's the equal sign. The two lands on either side are the two sides of the equation. And the river's curse, well, that's the fundamental rule of algebra. Any term that crosses the river has its operation inverted. Addition flips to subtraction, multiplication to division. It's really that simple. And here is our cast of characters. You've got the mysterious Ixis. They're the unknown variables we're trying to solve for, our X. Then there are the steadfast warriors, who are just the constant numbers. The fearsome dragons, they represent multiplication, breathing fire to distribute their power. And watching over the entire kingdom is King Equalus, whose one single unbreakable law is that both sides of his land must always stay perfectly balanced. Okay, so we know the world and we know the players. Now let's see them in action. The story says a legendary scroll was found, and on it was a 5-step magic formula to bring peace to the kingdom, which for us means solving the equation. And this is our battlefield. It might look like just a chaotic fantasy race, but what you're seeing is a perfect visual of a first-degree equation. Yep, it's got variables, parentheses, and even those tricky denominators. This is our challenge. And this is our map. The magic formula is pretty much a 5-step algorithm hidden inside the story. It gives us a clear plan, a roadmap to solve any problem the kingdom throws at us. So let's walk through it step by step. Step 1. Start with the mystery term. So here, we see two dragons have captured an Ixis and a warrior. They breathe fire, which multiplies their power against both of their prisoners. In math terms, that's just the distributive property. 2 times the quantity of x minus 1 becomes 2x minus 2. And boom, just like that, the parentheses are gone. Step 2. Put everything on wheels. To make sure the big race is fair, King Equalus demands that every single vehicle must have the same number of wheels. In this case, 4. It's a really brilliant visual trick for one of the most annoying parts of algebra, finding a common denominator. Step 3, the wheels disappear. A powerful wizard shows up and with just a single spell, poof, all the wheels vanish. So why does that happen? Because now that every term has the same base, they're not needed anymore. This is exactly what we do in algebra. Once a common denominator is everywhere, you can just remove it. And suddenly the battlefield is much simpler.
Okay, step 4, unite the forces. It's time to draw the battle lines. All the X's are ordered to one side of the river, and all the warriors go to the other. And you have to remember the curse of the river. Any term that crosses it gets its sign inverted. This is the story's way of showing us how to isolate the variable and combine all the like terms.
And now for the final step. Find the axis of the question. What we're left with is 9 X's on one side and 18 warriors on the other. To restore balance, King Equalis makes his final judgment. If 9 X's are worth 18 warriors, then one single X must be worth 2 warriors. So the answer, the whole point, is that X equals 2. The war is over, the equation is solved.
It's an absolutely fantastic story, but here's the real question. Did it actually work? Let's leave the kingdom of Ixis and head back to the classroom to see the real-world results of this whole epic battle. The impact was, to put it simply, huge. According to Machado, students who had been totally lost before, the ones who were really struggling, were suddenly solving these complex, multi-step equations with real confidence. It wasn't just about getting a better grade, it was about truly understanding it. So why does this work so well? Well, the story acts as this perfect bridge from the abstract world of symbols to the concrete world of characters. It takes intimidating rules and turns them into memorable missions. It transforms a total chore into an actual quest, making learning not just less painful, but genuinely fun. And that really leaves us with this one final thought. The war of the terms shows that the key to unlocking logic isn't always just memorizing rules. Sometimes it's imagination. It really makes you wonder, what other unsolvable problems could we all master if we just dared to tell a better story about them?